Hello and welcome to the Football Code Business Podcast, the show where I get to talk to the most innovative people working in the world of football about the contemporary trends and topics which impact their jobs. I'm your host, Alex Manby, and in this episode I'm speaking to Iñigo Diaz de Cerio, International Area Manager of Real Sociedad. Inigo is joining me to discuss what makes La Real unique, the importance of the club's Basque identity, strategies for growing fandom domestically and in new markets, and how the club's performance in this season's UEFA Champions League has helped to grow the brand. Without further ado, let's get into it. Inigo, welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon.
So I'd like to start by discussing identity and uniqueness. What distinguishes Real Sociedad from other clubs in Europe and the rest of the world?
Well, I think that in our case, it's not only Real Sociedad, it's something that is related to the Basque teams here, Basque Country. Maybe all the people don't know about Basque Country, but we are a very special area from Spain where we have our own language, our own way to think about the life, and we are a very special community of 2 million people. So in that environment, that system, Real Sociedad is the main club of the smallest region of Spain, 700,000 inhabitants here in our area. And the way is that we can be competing in the maximum level of football with most of players from the area. So this is something that maybe is special for us, the community and the relation that we have with our community, and also the players that we have from our academy.
I want to dig into that a little bit because it does seem to be such a focal point of what makes La Real La Real. The club doesn't have the same stringent rules as it once did regarding only allowing Basque players to play, but there is still a great emphasis on bringing local players through the academy to represent the first team. And I think I'm right in saying about 60% of the current squad are academy graduates. For the club and for the fans, how important is this local representation?
This is very important thing. 40 years ago, more or less, we started with foreign players because from 1999 that we created the club to 1985, 86, all the players of the club were Basque players. Then we started with some British players and Portuguese players. They were the first players, foreign players that we had, and it's curious because it's the development of, and the idea also of the club was to maintain most of the players from the academy and then add some different profiles that we don't have here to improve the level of the team and of the club. So this is something that 40 years ago we decided to do, but nowadays most of the people realize that it's very important to maintain the core of that. During the 2000, 2004, 2005, 6, we were in the first division, but most of the time trying not to be relegated to the second division. And these years, most of the players were foreign players. Only a few players were from the academy. And then when we finally relegated to the second division, we were 3 years there, and we recover the spirit and the aim of the club, that is to have most of the players from the academy. And nowadays we maintain this, and people they understand that we need to add some foreign players, but they also understand that we are an academy former players club.
And Inigo, is everyone unanimously in approval of this within the club and the fans? Does anybody say, well, hang on, does this, maybe we're sacrificing on-pitch success in order to maintain the essence of the club?
No, here it can happen the opposite thing. If we lose the aim and the ideal of the club, and as we did, as I told you before, at the beginning of the century, people they weren't very happy with us during these ages, because these years, because for them is that we are losing the aim of the club, that is to maintain most of the players from the academy. So we can have some I don't know, different ideas here in the around the fans. It's more due to the foreign players that we have than the academy players that we can have at the first team.
As well as training young players to be able to perform at the highest level on the pitch, are there other elements to their development that come from the academy? Are there particular Real Sociedad values that you try to instill in them?
Yes, for us, we try to develop players, but we also try to develop people and to have good and to help to the players that are in the academy to be good person in the future. I know that most of the clubs speak about that, but we especially cares about their education. We have a special program, a specific program for them. We have more than 8 teachers every day at the academy facilities or training facilities to help them, and it's obligatory. It's mandatory to have these classes during every day. 93% of the players that are in the academy, they get their academy title every year. So I think that we are all the day, all the time telling to the society, to the environment, to the families that we care about the education, and this is a very important thing for us.
And that's important both in terms of it's your sense of duty and you should do it. These are young boys, but also because you think it's important the players they'll become.
Yeah, when the players are coming from the families from our clubs to Real Sociedad Academy here, the Basque people and the environment that we have, the families give their kids to us, and they tell us, please care about them. They are not telling us, please become them football professional players. No, they are telling us that we need to care about them. So this is the first idea that we receive from the families. So all the career that they are in the academy, maybe they are not going to be, most of them, they are not going to be first team players. But the legacy of Real Sociedad in these players is more than football players. Is to help them to be ready to another life apart of football. So this is very important for us.
Inigo, it strikes me that with this model of bringing through at least half of the first team players coming from the academy, player retention is hugely important. And yet players do leave. Of course, some stay longer than others. Club captain Mikel Oyarzabal, for example, is coming up to a decade at La Real, having come through the academy. I suppose when players do leave, it must be particularly heartbreaking and hard given where they've come from and what they represent, not to mention how hard it is to replace them.
Yeah, the average of stay that one player in the academy that they can be at the Real Sociedad, they usually be at the Real Sociedad is between 7 and 8 years. So they do a very long way and a long career in the academy. As you know, few of them can play in the first team, but it's true that it's very difficult. We have a special protocol to say goodbye to the players that are with us when they finish, and the coaches also, because they are also important figures in our structure. But some of the players that they can do, like Mikel Oyarzabal, all the career is very nice for us because they confirm that we are doing the right things. But it's not easy to manage the the exit of a lot of academy players. So we try to help them to find clubs or find the options to go out from the club, but it's not easy to replace the importance of these players in the club, in the structure, and sometimes it's not easy to manage.
Inigo, I'm keen to talk about the revamped stadium, Estadio Anoeta. In 2019, you literally brought fans closer to the team by removing the running track from the stadium and adding 10,000 more seats. What was the reason behind this decision, and how much were fans involved in the process?
It's a question or a matter that we were thinking for many years. The beginning of our history, we played in a stadium that was in the city center. It's without tracks, without athlete tracks. So we were there till 1992 for more than 70 years. and we decided to come to another new stadium that is like you told before, athletic tracks, but the environment here was very cold. The supporters were very far from the goal, from the field, from the pitch. So it's the people they don't like to come to the stadium, and the atmosphere wasn't the best to play games here at the local team as local team. So we decided in 2014 to start the renewal. We finished 2019, and it changes the the way and the situation of the club. It's true that at the same time that we opened or we finished the renewal, the football or the results of the first team were like going up and up and up. And we finished last year with the Champions League. But it's true that both things is like a perfect combo, and we got for last 4 years more than 12,000. We increased more than 12,000 people, the season ticket holders. The stadium nowadays is full, and the environment, the atmosphere, the feeling, the relation between the team and the supporters changed with the new stadium, and it's a thing that all the people demanded for many years.
It sounds like it's had a significant impact. I want to talk about something else which I believe has had a significant impact on the club and probably on your job as international area manager, and that's the signing of Takefusa Kubo. We know from operating a Japanese edition of Goal that Japanese fans are very loyal to their compatriots who represent the national team Samurai Blue. In other markets, it's still Messi, Ronaldo, perhaps Mbappe, who drive page views and social impressions. In Japan, it's Kubo, it's Mitoma, it's Tomiyasu, and Endo. I'm sure you've seen that yourself since signing him. But I'm interested to know, was his ability to open the club to the Japanese market a key factor in signing him or just an added benefit?
It's crazy the changes that we had for last 2 years since we signed Take 2 years ago. But it's true that sorry, the club was thinking that we need to grow, and the unique way to grow in our case was to we decided that was to open to the world, because we are a very local team, very local team, and sometimes our growth at the local area was in the top. So we decided to open to new markets, and we choose three markets. Japan before Take. We were doing something with this country before, the United States and Scandinavian area, because we had some relation and some similar culture and values with them. So that were the three countries that we decided to develop and to try to do different things there. But since Take arrived here, Japan became from the beginning in the first country. We were working with them in different areas, and it's true that Japanese culture and people they follow more the player than the clubs. But it's true that Take was or is I think that the maximum start due to his past in Real Madrid, in Barcelona, and I think that the start that he is in the country, and here he finds in Real Sociedad the perfect place to develop and to show to the world the level that he has, and the growth that we are having in Japan is crazy.
So the club had already identified Japan as a key territory where they wanted international expansion. Were the communications and marketing team therefore involved in the signing of Kubo? Were you able to tell the management, hey, we want to sign a Japanese player?
No, we separate we have very clear that we have to separate both matters. So the first of the situation is that the sport staff they decided to incorporate players. In that case, they incorporate Take, because they were behind Take some years also, I think, before. So they have clear that Take is a very special player, and that he can offer us a very improvement level here at Real Sociedad. After that, once when we signed, we realized the potential of this player, and we try to get to take advantage of the situation. But first of all, is the sport staff. They decided, and we, from the marketing or international area, we don't tell them anything regarding this matter.
So you've seen this huge change, this explosion in interest in the Japanese market. What do you do to cater to the Japanese market specifically? Do you communicate in a different way with audiences there versus at home in Spain?
Yeah, we created the social media accounts in Japanese at the beginning. Some ones, and there are some social media that are specific from the country. So we created some profiles in that specific social media that they have there. So after that, at the beginning, from the beginning, we started working with an agency that help us to understand this new culture, to develop this market in different point of view, because we have some deals with some clubs from Japan before. We have some players here developing skills from Japan, young players at the academy, work training with us, only training in like an improvement program. Uh, and it's true that we are trying to, we created, in that case, with the help of La Liga, a 7 years strategic plan to develop the market, not focusing in money, only in doing things and having this increasing present to increase the presence of the brand in Japan, because we know that Take is the player, but you know what happened with the players. The players, Take is not going to be here for next 15 years. We hope to have here for long, long, long time in Real Sociedad, but football, you know, change things change very fast. So we need to be ready to continue in the market once Take is not in Real Sociedad. We hope to have here. We renew his contract few months ago. So we hope to have here many, many years at Real Sociedad, but we have to be ready, and we are working in different strategic areas to continue working the market.
I suppose that's the real end objective, isn't it? And probably the hardest thing. The challenge is to turn Japanese Kubo fans who might currently have a transient interest in Real Sociedad, but only while he's there, into fans for life of the club.
Yeah, this is the this is the main thing that we are thinking on at the moment. How we can continue without Take, but I think that I was a football player before, so I learned in the past that in that case, in that industry, in that football matters, you need to live the moment. You can be thinking what will happen in not in 2 years, in 2 months, because everything can change in one day. We don't know what is going to happen in next transfer market window. So you need to improve the skills or the resources that you have at the moment, and okay, thinking in the medium and large term, but not focusing on that, because you can manage this in the future.
Talking about living in the moment, this season La Real had a beautiful journey in the UEFA Champions League through to the round of 16, having topped a group featuring Inter Milan, Benfica, and Red Bull Salzburg. Can you describe what it meant for the club to play in the competition this season?
For us, it's something that we didn't expect, but we're working on that, and we were close to the Champions League last 3 4 seasons. So it's something that we are aspiring to be playing for some years. So once when we are there, for us it's a big jump in terms of reputation. When you ask me about Champions League, for us it's more, it's a sport, it's the biggest competition, it's focusing, we can have the focus of the world in us, because we played against the best teams of the world. But also in terms of reputation, for us is very important, because Real Sociedad model, Real Sociedad idea, values, country, everything, San Sebastian, the city, I think that it's the best platform to show to the world who we are, where we are, and which is the methodology, the aim, and the values of the club. So So this is the most important thing for us regarding Champions.
Clearly, playing in the UEFA Champions League aids international growth, but is it quantifiable? Are there specific examples which demonstrate the benefit of participation in the competition?
The easiest one is the increase that we had last season in social media. This is the easiest one. And the the exposure that the Champions League gives us is huge. Is worldwide. So this is the main one. We increase a lot the followers that we have in our social media. But apart of that, how many sport agents that contact Real Sociedad last season regarding our methodology, interested in the way that we are working. It's something very significant because we have a lot of requests to visit us, to know about us, and things that like that is the way. And also uh, international press and journalists that came to San Sebastian regarding Champions League is something that I think that is not going to happen if we are not playing this competition. So for us, I think that these three things are maybe the best examples of the importance of the Champions League.
Inigo, I want to end on a question sort of looking forward to the future. The club's clearly grown significantly over recent years, whether that's measured by increases in revenue, international visibility. You talked about social following. How do you invest that additional budget which comes from all of this? And does it have to fit into a long-term club strategy?
Yeah, we are on that. For us, this opportunity is a unique opportunity. We don't know where and when we are going to be again in the Champions League, so we have to take advantage, and we invest some budget in trying to increase the followers, to increase the people that have Real Sociedad in mind. We know that we are not one of the biggest 15 clubs of Europe. Maybe we are in the second or the third tier, but this is something that we realize, we know, we realize about it, and we know that, but we try to take advantage of the situation and to promote our brand and our things, and we dedicated budget and resources to increase the Real Sociedad followers, fans around the world.
Well, Inigo, I wish you all the best for the rest of the season and indeed into next season. Thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts and insights into what truly is a unique football club.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And we are a club, but we behind us is an area, a city that is fantastic. So all of the people around the world that they want to know us, you have to come to San Sebastian, and you have the opportunity to visit us. So thank you very much for the time and the opportunity.
I've been to San Sebastian. I can vouch for everything you've said there. It's an amazing place. So you're very lucky to live and work in the city. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Please do give us a rating and a review if you've enjoyed the show. Until next time, all the best.